Pocahontas got me staring, got me wearing strange stuff. You think I'm loco? It's just a poncho. Heads are turning one by one. What have you done? Matawaka got me yearning. A bonfire trance got me drumming. Sun is rising. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in.
I can bring you a mind. I like the way you do it. Love is the only true remedy. I open up to it and I receive it. I am me. I am everything. Skimming lines.
It's my call. Pocahontas, you think I'm loco? You think I'm crazy? Matawaka, Pocahontas, heads are turning one by one. What have you done? Matawaka, Pocahontas, purple goddess, got me wearing crystals. You think I'm loco? Maybe un poco. Heads are burning one by one. This is fun. Abracadabra, inside my chakra. Sit down for a while, meditate, you fly high. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice in. Shut the mice. Heads are burning one by one. This is fun.
Polka got mad low. My rhythm tight, so I stretch like the trees grow.
What?
It's a Matawaka fire show.
We let it burn. If you would trigger, then you must go. The polka no bad beat. My whip kindness, I kill him with that LOV. It's a Matawaka fire show. We let it burn in the night. It's my call, y'all. I'm everything.
Morning everyone, welcome to Wangaratta. Here we are for round 5 of Statewide Stampede. Hello if you're watching on at home and hello if you're watching on here in person. My name is Intensive Care Unit and I'm joined by Hypodermic, who's just getting ready with the microphone. All right, we're about 20 seconds to starting this game. We've got the Chico Rollers versus Southeast Alliance. Chico Rollers are from Bendigo and Southeast Alliance are a merged team from a number of smaller regional teams in the southeast of Victoria. So we'll do our team rosters once we get a nice break in play. I don't want to interrupt the start of the game. We are about to start. And if you are watching along at home, feel free to put a message in the comments and we'll potentially read it out. We've already got one message saying, go C. So C is SEA, Southeast Alliance. So a bit of support watching on from home for our friends in Southeast Alliance. It is actually Southeast Alliance's first year as a team and they played their first interstate tournament at TGSS earlier this year in Adelaide. So congratulations, C. All right, and there's that rolling whistle. So the teams are lining up to get started. Just waiting for that. There's our 5-second call. And that whistle means we are away. Damage Patch Doll for the Chico Rollers and Honeybee for Southeast Alliance. Damage Patch Doll has got lead Jammer, but Honeybee is not far behind as we come around the second apex and re-engage the pack on this first straightaway. Both Jammers engaging the pack, but Damage Patch Doll has come through for the 4 points on the first pass. Honeybee having a little bit of... There we go, outside that pack there. The Chico blockers were doing a great job there. Great defence. And Damage Patch Dolls coming out 2 blockers to get past. Little hop and a step on the inside line of the second turn to come around for another 4 points. And Honeybee is almost out of the pack and just getting knocked into the middle and having to recycle back. Damage Patch Doll doing a nice little surf along the outside line there for another couple of points. Library Fine on the bench saying keep going. And Honeybee fighting through that pack of Chico's blockers on the outside and stepping around for another 4-point pass. Both Jammers getting quite a few points now. It's been a good start for the Jammers and good start to the defence as well, trying to stop them from doing too many laps. And Damaged Patch Doll knocked out on the outside line and calling off the jam. So great first jam there, lots of action with Chico Rollers now up to, numbers being added, 19 points there. Southeast Alliance on 9. So great start. Let's see how these teams continue. Couple more messages from our viewers at home. Go see SEA and woo, nice work, Griff. So thank you for everyone watching at home, and thank you to our excellent volunteers for putting on the live stream and making it possible to enjoy Statewide Stampede from wherever you are in the state. All right, here we have Jam 3, Kilbo Baggins for the Chico Rollers and Corky for Southeast Alliance. Corky with lead jammer coming around to re-engage the pack. Kilbo Baggins is also out of that, made their initial pass, and both jammers now re-engaging the pack on that first straightaway section of the track. Both jammers are out pretty much one after the other. It is a race for these two jammers. Corky's trying to stay in front, but Kilbo Baggins is right behind as the blockers move the pack up into the second straightaway. Corky comes through for a quick, sneaky few-point pass and calls off the jam. A lot of pressure being put on there by Kilbo Baggins. It didn't get lead, but put the pressure on and really encouraged that call off there. So that jam, 4 points to 5. Chico Rolls are on 43. Southeast Alliance are on 14. All right, we are away on Jam 5. Damage Patch Doll for the Chicos and Griff for Southeast Alliance. Griffin is out with lead jammer. Damage Patch Doll is not far behind. As the blockers are lining up at that first apex, just trying to get themselves in position. Chico Rollers at the top of the pack, trying to set up there out the front. And here we have Griffin engaging that pack at the back, and we have Damage Patch Doll coming up the inside line, sliding around past KTO to get out for some points. And Griffin has called off the jam, not quite able to get all the way out of the pack. KTKO at the front of the pack is really hard to get past. Excellent blocking there. 4 points each from that jam. Bit of a cheeky whip there on the way around. Ooh, couple of points added there just after Hypodermic has announced the score. So now it's 70-30. And we've got another home viewer who says, go Storm. And Storm was just jamming in that previous jam and is actually one of the junior skaters who has now leveled up to adult derby. So it's really cool to see the development and growth of our junior skaters in Victoria and supporting roller derby across the state. All right, here we go. Again, we have Kilbo Baggins and Honeybee as our jammers. Kilbo Baggins has got lead jammer and is coming around the second apex to start their scoring pass. Honeybee is also out and ready to start scoring. Kilbo Baggins are 1 foot on the outside line there, just staying in. Very, what's the word? Dancer-like manoeuvre. I can't think of the word, everyone, but anyway, you know what I mean. Big hit there from Kilbo Baggins in hitting that pack and just pushing those blockers out of the way and coming through. Honeybee with 2 up the front to get past. A bit of offense there from Corky to make a space for Honeybee to get around. All right, as the blockers are reforming themselves, Kilbo Baggins trying to take that outside line, not quite making it and deciding to call off the jam. So at the end of that jam, it looks like we have 8 points for the Chico Rollers, bringing them to 78, and 4 points to Southeast. Oh, I spoke too soon. 79 points for the Chico Rollers, 4 points making Southeast 34. Yeah, we saw a bit of everything in that jam, didn't we?
At the end of it, we have 0 points each. How would that work?
Oh,
70 dollars, no points.
all right, as we're lining up for the next jam. And we are away. We've got, who do we have? Damage patched off with Chico Rollers and Raw for Southeast Alliance. Chico Rollers are 1 blocker down with Solid Rage still in the penalty box from the previous jam. So blocker advantage there to Southeast Alliance. Damage patch Doll with lead jammer coming to re-engage the pack at that first turn. Both jammers now trying to fight their way through. Damage patch Doll being recycled back there. And Raw out the front with just Argy Bargy to get past. And unfortunately that is a penalty for Argy Bargy, and Raw is through for a scoring pass. Damage Patch Doll also scoring points now, coming around and calling off the jam. All right, so that's going to mean that Chicos are going to start the next jam once again, 1 blocker down, blocker advantage to Southeast Alliance. At the end of that jam, 4 points each, 83 to 38. Oh, palindrome scores, that's fun. That was an apex jump on the straight. Those of you playing roller derby bingo, fallen callers come up twice already today.
That's the well-known, more popular card. 8 points for Chico Rollers, 4 points for Southeast Alliance, puts us at 91 and 42.
All right, this first half is racing away. We haven't had any timeouts or anything. Everyone is just getting right on with it, and we're getting ready to start jam number 11, Kilbo Baggins versus Corky on our jammer line. Kilbo Baggins taking the inside line and racing through away to get lead jammer. Corky also trying to find a space on that inside line, but being recycled back by KTKO. And as Kilbo Baggins re-engages the pack for a scoring pass, but Corky is also out of the pack, so it's another jammer race. Kilbo Baggins taking a look over to Library Fine on the bench, who says call it off. 4 points to 0 on that one. Sometimes you just got to get a quick couple of points and call it off before the other team can score anything. That's our 5-second call, and we are away. Damage patch doll for the Chicos and Griffin for Southeast Lions, and solid defensive walls here at the out the jammer line, but damage patch doll has made it out. Griffin almost making it out, but just being held there. I'm not sure which jam that is. Sorry, which blocker that is. Both jammers are now out of the pack and ready to start scoring points. Damage patch doll just trying to find that space on the outside line, cutting through to the inside to grab 4 points there. Oh, Griffin finding a huge little gap there, just a little bit of a manoeuvre to make some space. All right, it looks like I'm not going to give anything away, but we do have a power jam here for Southeast Alliance, and Griffin is the only jammer on track, is the only one who can score any points. So the Chico blockers are going to do all they can to stop that from happening. Hellion and I think that's Sticks Vicious there, Sticks and Stones, pushing Griffin out on the outside line there. Sorry, inside line, and recycling all the way back to the first apex. Southeast Alliance doing a little bit of offense to try and help Griffin to get out and try and get those Chico blockers out of the way. Last moment hit there from post Lamazon. But both jammers are now back on track. There are points to be scored. Damage patch doll taking the outside line, a little sweep from the Chicos to open up a bit of space. Griffin trying to find another line on the outside and back to the inside. Nick's Vicious doing a great job there to hold, but almost out of the pack. Damage patch doll looking again for that space on the outside. And that is our 2-minute whistle. I think we had a full 2-minute jam then, I think. And we've got one Southeast Alliance blocker being sent to the penalty box. So Chico Rolls will start on a blocker advantage. At the end of that jam, 10 points to Chicos, bringing them to 117. 12 points to Southeast Alliance, bringing them to 61. Sorry.
The team timeout to Southeast Alliance. We're just going to bring the dog out on timeout because we're going to get tired again.
All right. Yeah, well, now we've got opportunity. We can have a look at our teams. This is our Chico Rollers team roster. 1-0 KTKO, 1-1 Nix Vicious, 1-1-2 Goose Lightning, 1-4 Kilbo Baggins, 1-6 Solid Rage, 2-2 Argy Bargy, 3-4 Bearskin Bruiser, 3-7 Poe Slammerin, 3-9 Sassin, 4 Sharp Cheddar, 4-4 Dabbage Patch Doll, 7-7 Crackerjack, 8 Hellion, 9 Sticks and Stones, and 9-9 In a Pickle.
And then on the Southeast Alliance roster, we've got 0-5 Hands Play.
All right, as we are lining up for the next jam, Jam 15, we've got Corky for Southeast Alliance starting with a power jam start, but Goose Lightning in the penalty box is standing, so possibly will not be in the penalty box for very long. So Corky's going to want to make the most of this power jam start with a blocker advantage, and that's exactly what's happened. Corky is out for lead jammer and away to start scoring points. Goose Lightning is off the penalty, or out of the penalty box, on track, and has already made it through. Corky getting hit out on the inside line by Bearskin Bruiser and deciding to call off the jam before the Chicos have an opportunity to score any points. So Chicky, 3 points there for the Southeast Alliance, bringing them to 64. And Chico Rollers out in front still on 140. And if you're playing Roller Derby Bingo, we got jammer on jammer action there. That's always fun to see. We should actually probably make an actual bingo card so we can play this game. But in the meantime, all right, we are away for the next jam. Corky for Southeast Alliance and Sasson for Chico Rollers. Corky with lead jammer. But both jammers now out of the pack and starting to score points. Corky coming around the outside, big hit there from KTKO, but sliding back on the in to get through. Sasson doing some sneaky little agile moves to get through as well. Southeast Alliance with 2 blockers in the penalty box at the moment, so blocker advantage to the Chicos, and they are making it work for them by doing a little bit of offense and defense at the same time. Holden Corky pushed out to the outside line on the second apex, and Sasson coming back around the straight to start scoring again and re-engaging the pack. Solid Rage, only blocker out the front there, but Corky slides around for 4 more points. Looks like we're coming around all the action at the first turn. Corky trying to find that space on the inside, dancing around KTKO on there in the inside line. Sasson trying to find space on the inside, just getting held there. And finding a space back through the middle of the pack. This is a pretty fast-moving jam as we are re-engaging the pack very quickly as soon as they come through. Hit from Solid Rage there on the outside, forcing Corky to recycle back. And there's that whistle at the end of the jam. Big scoring jam for both teams. 16 points each by the looks of it, so basically 0 points each. 164 to 100. Southeast Alliance are creeping back with that gap, but Chico Rollers maintaining their lead. All right, now just a quick note for people listening at home. Apparently you can only hear one announcer, so I'm just doing a test. If you can hear me, can you please comment? And if you don't comment, I'm going to assume you can't hear me.
I'll never be this young. I'll never be this young again. Don't wanna chase highs when I'm too worn out. When I'm too worn out. So I'm never coming down. Never coming down. Never coming down again. I was born to be this high. Born to be this high. Born to be this high, my friend. Won't you come up here to my altitude? To my altitude, yeah, you. 'Cause I always liked you. I wanna share this view. I wanna share this view with you. We're never coming down. Never coming down. Never coming down again. We were born to be this high. Born to be this high. Born to be this high, my friend. Broken people flying like heroes all around town and never coming down. Normal people writing our stories. We're never boring and never coming down. Don't wanna waste time. I'll never be this young. I'll never be this young again. Don't wanna waste life. I'll never be this dumb. I'll never be this dumb again. We're all idiots, idiots, everyone. We're all idiots, idiots, everyone. But we sure know how to have some fun. Oh, we're all idiots, idiots, everyone. We're all idiots, idiots, everyone. But we sure know how to have some fun. Yeah. We're never coming down. Never coming down. Never coming down again. We were born to be this high. Born to be this high. Born to be this high, my friend. Broken people flying like heroes all around town and never coming down. Normal people writing our stories. We're never boring, never coming down.
New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. Need no middleman, I'm the man to man, send it in. I like what I like, me, I know my rights, it's sipping in. I like having fun, I do what I want, it's what it is. For my son and son, for my daughters, yeah, it's for my twin. I work through the night, I do what I like.
Hello, ladies and gentle thems. We are back with another period of roller derby. Half-time almost done. Just while we're getting half-time out of the way, just going to give a quick shout out to our officials. On the NSO side of things, we've got Achilles Wheels, Leo Slayer, Peaches and Scream, who you can see there in the incredible outfit. Very, very on theme and with some amazing dance skills as well. Killer Hertz on scoreboard, Buster Hammy, Frankenherder, Chips, Double D, Mad Pixie sitting in the penalty box, and Muggles ready to leap into action on as an alternate. We've got Disaster Chief as our head ref, General Payne, Gary, Zarantula, all in the centre. And then scooting around the outside, being kept very busy, is Sophiopath, Owl, and Melancholy. And our alt ref for this game is Executioner. One of the best things about roller derby is the names. And here we are again, back again for period 2. This is jam 1. I'll get there eventually. Looks like we've got Goose Lightning up against Honey Bee. And here we go. We've got Dragon City sitting on 175, Southeast Alliance on 116, as Goose Lightning sneaks through the pack for lead. Honeybee working their way through as Goose Lightning with a slidey inside line, taking a knee as they go. The pack now working its way around to the back straight. Goose Lightning doing a big hit on Griffin there, who barely moved. Solid defence. Honeybee in time finding an inside line. Goose Lightning taking the outside line, sneaking around for the full 4 points and then calling. And that is 12 points to the Chico Rollers, 4 points to Southeast Alliance, 187 to 120.
All right, welcome back to the second half. And lining up for the second jam, we have Kilbo Baggins and Mad Splatter, and we are away. Mad Splatter getting lead, but Kilbo Baggins is right there behind, putting a lot of pressure on as the blocking packs move around to the second straightaway to line up there off the apex. Kilbo Baggins just getting in front of Mad Splatter there to get out of the pack first. Splat is pushing hard against these solid wall of Chico's blockers. Storm doing a bit of offense there to move Crackerjack out of the way. Meanwhile, Kilbo Baggins is back re-engaging the back of the pack there and has just made it past the middle line there for 4 points. Storm is in the penalty box, so we now have a blocker advantage to the Chico Rollers. Kilbo Baggins taking the inside line there for another 4 points. Splat pushing up, trying to get past there. We've got Solid Rage, Crackerjack, and I can't see all of the blockers, but pushing hard there, trying that inside line, racing away. KTKO coming in to do a quick final hit, not quite making it. 4 points there for Mad Splatter. Kilbo Baggins came around. Unfortunately has been assessed I believe a cut track penalty. So Splat with a power jam, but deciding to call off the jam. So that means that Kilbo Baggins is going to be starting the next jam from the penalty box.
That's a team timeout for Chico Rollers. An official review, sorry. even more exciting. I'm going to go do a quick dash in there and see what that's all about.
A couple of quick shout outs. Thank you to Northeast Roller Derby for hosting us here today at round 5 in beautiful Wangaratta. It is a pretty fresh morning, so hopefully the sun comes out. Thank you also to Deadly Sports Plus for being our first aid legends once again. Thank you. We enjoy having you here frequently at Statewide Stampede. And if you're listening along at home thinking, first aid sounds fun, let this be your annual reminder to go and do your first aid certificate. It isn't that hard and it could be really useful. And a quick score update while we're here as well. Chico Rollers are on 199 and Southeast Alliance on 124. Pretty high scoring games so far. Let's see how we go through this second half. All right, Mick's coming back from the middle to give us an update on what is the news from the middle.
What is the good news? The good news is Dragon City's cut track penalty is being rescinded. Dragon City felt that they only cut one of their own teammates, which is actually quite legal. And the officials felt they agreed with that one. Or at least weren't certain that opponents were cut in that. So that means we have a perfectly normal boring jam now. Although these guys will make it anything but boring, I'm sure.
Yeah, perfectly normal jam in roller derby is pretty much full of excitement.
Exciting by default, but no power jam status for South Sea this time around.
All right, our officials are just getting all set up and ready after the timeout there. We've just got to make sure everyone's ready to restart. Everyone's where they need to be. And there is our whistle. End of the timeout.
Just a quick shout out to the live stream again. Thanks for letting us know that we had some technical issues there. Hoping those are all fixed. What could possibly go wrong? And there is start of Jam 3 in period 2. Goose Lightning coming up against Corky, who has gotten lead. And about a quarter track behind them is Goose Lightning trying hard to catch up. Corky looking for that inside line, not quite finding it. Goose Lightning in the meantime sneaking through. Sharp Cheddar going for a long offense out the front there. Not quite catching Corky, who is a very speedy jammer. Goose Lightning through for another scoring pass. Big bit of offense from Griffin, making a gap for Corky there. And that really is a very important part of the game. It's one thing to stop the opposing jammer, but it is also very important to make sure that you're helping your own jammer at the same time. Once again, both jam refs being kept very busy here. Both jammers moving very quickly around, continuing this trend of a very high scoring game. Corky again almost out the front, but stopped by a really determined defence from Sharp Cheddar. And some big shouts from the Southeast Alliance there. I don't know whether you could hear it over the live stream. Sometimes when the adrenaline is in, it's a little bit difficult to get your jammers to listen. It's part of the fun. That is a 20-point jam to the Chico Rollers, almost matched by a 16-point jam from Southeast Alliance, 219 to 140.
Yes, we do have the bench coaches giving strategic instruction, but sometimes the jammers and the blockers as well, sometimes they just do what they want to do. All right, Sasson for Chicos has got lead jammer and is coming back around the second apex. Looks like Sticks and Stones from the Chicos is in the penalty box. So Storm for Southeast Alliance, jammer against only 3 blockers. So let's see what she can make of that. Some offense there from Mad Splatter to try and break up the Chicos blockers, but they're reforming really solidly and holding Storm, who's just trying to get a whip off Mad Splatter there to come around for some points. Sasson coming back around to the back of the pack, engaging at the inside line and trying to get past there on the inside, just sneaking through on that third turn, and a quick call off as emerging from the pack. So that was 8 points for that jam for the Chico Rollers and 4 points for Southeast Alliance.
And a quick shout out to Splat's Georgie there, doing some heavy lifting, pulling their jammer through the pack. Honeybee versus Damage Patch Doll. And they are off. Both jammers trying to find some sneaky little gaps through tripods there. Power jam now to Dragon City.
Corky doing some great one-on-one blocking there out the front. So
incredible stuff.
Some of our players are both jamming and blocking today, which is kind of cool to see. Some people, such as myself, really can only do one thing, block, and not even do that very well. So I'm very impressed when people can do lots of things.
I am also endlessly impressed. I can do all things just really badly. Big offense from Solid Rage there on the outside, helping Damage Patrol through as Honeybee returns to the track and through with a big hit and then an inside gap for their initial pass. Damage Patch grabbing their points and calling. That's a 12-point jam to the Chico Rollers, 0 points to Southeast Alliance. A power jam was not what they needed right now, alas. And that's 239 to 144.
It's our 5-second call as we're lining up on the jammer line, and that whistle means we are away. Mad Splatter for Southeast Alliance being held right back there at the jammer line, pushing forward, trying to get through, but Kilbo Baggins for the Chicos has already found a way out. Mad Splatter is now through. Both jammers are out, and our blockers are reforming themselves here at this first apex. Kilbo Baggins sliding around on the outside, sneaking a few points and calling off the jam before Splat can come back. 3 points to that jam for the Chicos, bringing them to 242, and no points there for Southeast Alliance. They are on 144.
Another one of those quick little defensive jams. It looks like we've got Goose Lightning for Dragon City coming up against Rawr. I have to do it with the voice, obviously. Goose Lightning getting lead, but being recycled. Always a little bit heartbreaking there to make it all the way through to the front, but still have to head all the way back again. Meanwhile, Raw pushing hard through the Dragon City defence, also recycled all the way back by Nick's Vicious. Nick's Vicious. Say that 10 times quickly. And Goose Lightning wasting absolutely no time in taking a maximum advantage of this time. Great defence there from Southeast Alliance, covering the entire track. And just a little bit of tidy defence there from Griffin. Giving Poe Slammer a little snack off track. Unfortunately, it's now a power jam to Dragon City. Cut track penalty for Raw. And you know that Goose Lightning is going to take full advantage of that one, calling to make it a power jam start, as well as snagging 16 points in that jam, taking Chico Rollers to 258. 144 for Southeast Alliance. Huge scores here for both teams.
Yeah, it's been a high-scoring game. So let's see, what are we up to? That's 100. Hang on, I'm trying to do some maths.
We're trying to do some maths here.
114-point difference.
Oh, it's going to be a dangerous game.
All right, Sasson for the Chico Rollers has got lead. Jammer Roar for Southeast Alliance is unfortunately still in the penalty box. So the Chicos are coming through to do a bit of a sweeping offence there to break up the C blockers so Sasson can slice on through for a couple more points. Library Fine on the bench is saying keep going. Sasson through again on that second turn, and Raw has rejoined the track and is trying to find a way past. We've got Argy Bargy, KTKO is holding frontal blocking there, is just pushing, trying to make some space. But Sasson has already come around and started scoring points. We have had a star pass. Our new jammer is Mad Splatter for Southeast Alliance. But Sasson has come around on the final turn, sliced on through and called it off before Splat can score. 16 points, huge jam there for the Chico Rollers. They are on 274, Southeast Alliance on 144.
Southeast Alliance starting one blocker down. And given its damage patch doll, it's going to make things even harder. Honey at the back with a big push. Such a strong jammer. Quite a few jammers tend to juke their way through the pack. Others will just get in there and push. Dragon City jammer, damage patch doll, finding a squeaky little gap down the inside there on one set of wheels. As Honeybee still pushes their way through. They're down to two blockers, one blocker. Sharp Cheddar out the front with a spirited defence, but just enough to slow them down. Followed not far behind by Damage Patch Doll. Both teams with full sets of blockers on the back straight now. And a big offense coming through there from Bearskin Bruiser as we've got some Skittles happening. And it is Skittles and Fallen Call. What a great combo.
You know, if I fell down on the track, I think I would also like the option to be like, nah, I'm not getting up. Call it off. I'm done.
I would like to go home now.
Yeah.
That's very fair. If home is your bench, anyway. 7-point jam to the Chico Rollers, 2 points to Southeast Alliance, 281 to 146.
All right, we're just slightly over halfway through this second half. So I guess what's that, the final quarter? Because we're now having hydration breaks in our derby halves. Kilbo Baggins for the Chico Rollers has got lead jammer. Storm for Southeast Alliance is still trying to find a space to get through. Kilbo doing a hop, skip and a jump on the inside line there and dancing around through the pack there to start scoring points. Storm is still trying to find a way through. But we've got some pretty strong blocking here from Chicos. We've got Hellion, Poe, Slammer and Sticks and Stones and Nick's Vicious just doing a really solid job there. Kilbo Baggins is coming back around, having a look at what line to take and jumps through the inside line for 4 more points. Storm is being recycled around the back on the outside line, all the way back to that first turn. Southeast blockers, Griff, Donna Kebab, Mad Splatter, trying really hard there to stop Kilbo Baggins, but is away for another 4 points. Storm has successfully achieved a star pass, and our new jammer for Southeast Alliance, well, was Splat, but the end of that jam came up pretty fast. That is a humongous 20-point jam for the Chico Rollers, bringing them to 301. Southeast Alliance kept scoreless in that jam. They are on 146, so slightly over double the score there for the Chicos.
Big shout out to both teams with some really excellent defence and offence. We do talk a lot about the jammers here, but it is the blockers and pivots who are doing a heck of a lot of work in the inside of that pack. In the meantime, we've got Goose Lightning who has come through for lead. It is Corky who is sneaking around trying to find a gap on that turn 2. And now on the back straight, pushed all the way out to the outside by KDKO. Very smooth operator, Goose Lightning, sneaking through the pack in the meantime, just taking advantage of the chaos. Sharp Cheddar on the outside, just staying in with some fancy footwork. A couple of our blockers and jammers have definitely gone to the Fred Astaire school of skating. And we've done a full lap now. We're back around to the starting lines, pivot and jammer lines. As Goose Lightning calls the jam, 0 points for Southeast Alliance, 16 points for Chico Rollers. Just high score after high score here. Very difficult for Southeast Alliance to push back against. Chico Rollers are really hitting their stride.
Yeah, the Chicos have extended their lead into this second half, so being quite dominant on the point scoring. But there's still a lot to play for here for both teams. All right, and we are now in jam number 12. Sasson for Chicos is trying to find a way through up the top there and has made it past Griff at the Donna Kebab at the top of the pack. And Grim for Southeast Alliance is just coming around on the inside to start a scoring pass. Oh, nice dance there from Sasson around the first turn to get past one single blocker and has taken the instruction to call it off. So a cheeky 4 points to 0, bringing Chicos to 321. Southeast Alliance on 146.
Okay, here we are coming into jam 13 of period 2. Just over 10 minutes left in this period until it is full time. Quick little official timeout there, but we're back into it now. Damage Patch Doll coming up against Honeybee. And as I said before, If you have a chance to go through the list of Derby names here, that is definitely the most fun part of the game. People come up with some very clever stuff. Honeybee sneaking through some chaos in the pack to snag lead jammer. Damage Patch Doll still pushing around on the outside there, being recycled. As the pack stretches out around turns 1 and 2. Dragon City losing Nick's Vicious to that pack, unfortunately. You do have to try and maintain pack. Dragon City now 2 blockers down. Honeybee taking full advantage of that one, going around for another scoring pass as Damage Patch Doll comes through. Trying to find that outside line. Not quite. So close and yet so far. Honeybee once again. The Southeast Alliance, a shout out to whoever is making their jerseys. Obviously very, very strong stuff. Working very well.
We have seen quite a few whips today, which is pretty fun.
Honeybee on the outside. Some fancy footwork and a little bit of spin. Making maximum use of this blocker advantage because they don't have it anymore. Dragon City now has 4 blockers, as well does South Sea. Suddenly it's a much harder time for the jammers. Honeybee acknowledging this and saying, no, we're calling it here. That's enough. Thank you ever so much. 19-point jam to Southeast Alliance alongside an 8-point jam from the Chico Rollers. Every time somebody's getting lead here, it seems like they're pushing it out to a big old scoreline.
All right, so our points differential now is 164. So Chico Rollers are just about twice Southeast Alliance's score at this stage. So really high scoring game, as we've mentioned. So let's see, we've got about 9 minutes left on this half. So let's see what happens with this scoreline. Meanwhile, we have, who's this? This is Kilbo Baggins jamming for the Chicos. And we have Storm for Southeast Alliance trying to get past. We've got that defensive tripod there holding at the back, at the front of the pack. Did really well to reform and hold. Donna Kebab coming in to do a bit of offense and break them up, but Storm is being recycled to the back of the pack by KTKO. Meanwhile, Kilbo Baggins is just sliding around for another 4 points on the outside, being hit there by, who is that? That's Splat and Griff, but has found a way through the outside line. Big hit there from Solid Rage onto Storm as the Chico blockers do well to continually reform. Every time they get broken up, they're doing really well to reform. Little bit of a run back there, or so recycle from Kilbo Baggins. Forced to come back after being hit out on the inside, and Splat doing their best one-on-one blocking out the front, but Kilbo Baggins has made it around for another couple of points. Storm at the back of the pack being held there by Nick's Vicious and Argy Bargy doing really well, as we have had a cheeky star pass, and Grim is our new jammer and is trying to find that space on the outside, cutting through to the inside, still looking for a gap, just almost making it and stepping out, having to recycle back. Kilbo Baggins is just, cutting laps in the meantime. KTKO versus Grim at the front of the pack. You don't want to have to face KTKO at the front of the pack. We all know this. We have known this for years and years. Alrighty, let's have a look at what's going on with the score. Humongous 23 points there to the Chicos. Their score is 352. Southeast Alliance on 165, kept scoreless in that jam.
And as per usual with many of these games, the scoreline really not doing the teams justice. Southeast Alliance are really leaving it all out on the track, doing an excellent job. And way to prove my words correct there, Corky sneaking around the outside line there for lead jammer status. Goose Lightning still working their way through a really determined Southeast Alliance defence, coming through for their initial Southeast Alliance losing a blocker to a penalty. That's their pivot as well. as both jammers move through for scoring passes, about a quarter of a track behind each other. 2 tripods, both teams down 1 blocker, and starting jam 16 that way. And it looks like Southeast Alliance have quickly snuck through for that 7 points. Chico Rollers with the 4.
All right, just over about 5.5 minutes left of this game. It's been a relatively quick game, not too many timeouts. So these teams just want to score points and get on with it, which is lots of fun for us watching. Sasson is jamming for the Chico Rollers and is being recycled to the back there, but unfortunately Griffin getting a penalty after that interaction. Honeybee out the front there against, I think that's Hellion, and has made it through as lead jammer. Sasson has also now made it out of the pack, while Honeybee slides along the inside line on the first scoring pass for a smooth 4 points. Sasson taking the inside and then cutting to the outside and just trying to get one blocker after the other just to get past Honeybee, re-engaging at the back of this pretty solid Chico's pack as Post Slammer and Baskin Bruiser rejoin Hellion there, reforming that pack. Looks like we have a 4-person tripod, quad pod as I like to call it, which as a blocker you'll know is not always ideal. But that jam is now over. 7 points to the Chico Roll. 7 points to both teams there. So effectively 0-all. 3-6-3 to the Chico Rollers now. Southeast Alliance on 179.
Another big shout out to our officials, both on and off skates. Roller Derby does not happen without officials to keep us nice and safe and fair. Kilbo Baggins has come through for the lead for Dragon City Roller Derby. Corky now coming through for their initial as the pack moves its way around to turn 2 and the back straight. Some great sneaky offense, just enough on the inside there from KDKO, making sure that Kilbo can come through with a minimum of fuss and a quick 4 points and call. 367 to Chico Rollers, 179 to the Southeast Alliance as we come down to the last 3 minutes.
All right, and this is only the second game of the day. We've got 3 more games of Roller Derby for you today. So stick around if you're here in person and keep watching if you're at home. But before that happens, we've still got to finish this game. 3 more minutes to go. Goose Lightning for the Chico Rollers has made it through for lead jammer, while Mad Splatter is just still trying to push that pack out of the way. Storm doing a little bit of offense to clear a space on the inside line. Mad Splatter taking that, but then being caught up quickly by those blockers. No pack call there from Jen in the inside. General Payne means that the Chicos had to stop engaging. All right, I'm about 2 turns behind the action now. Both jammers coming back to re-engage the pack. Splat taking a quick look at that inside line, trying to make some space. But Goose Lightning doing really nimble manoeuvres to quickly cut in, out, make space and find the gap. Mad Splatter has pushed through past Argy Bargy there at the top of the pack to score a cheeky 4 points. Goose Lightning coming through on the start of the back straight there and calling it off. So that was a pretty quick jam, but lots of points. 12 points to the Chico Rollers, 4 points to Southeast Alliance.
It is funny to watch this game. Often what ends up happening is both teams play quite defensively. They'll get lead, get points, and then as soon as the other jam is coming through, they will hit it and quit it, as it were. But this time around, we've had some quite long jams, including some that have been 2-minute jams. So it's led to a very high score. In the meantime, Honeybee coming through with lead jammer, but right behind them with some jammer on jammer action. There it is, Dragon City.
We love to see some jammer on jammer action.
Big hit from Damage Patch Doll there.
Forcing the
And
fallen call.
absolutely, Honeybee knocked to the outside. Big grins on everyone's faces there. That's the kind of derby we do like to see. 0 points each for that jam as we get down to the final minute of this period.
And we are away for what could possibly be our last jam, don't know. Sasson for the Chico Rollers has made it out as lead jammer. Mad Splatter is still at the back there, just trying to make a way through, and a little bit of offense, but hasn't quite managed to make a space. Sasson getting a big hit there from, I think that was, not sure. But Sasson is around again. Mad Splatter just hitting the back there of Solid Rage, which Nick mentioned before. Solid Rage is very solid. Solid blocking here from our Chicos as Mad Splatter tries to find a way through, and the C blockers trying to do a little bit of offense to try and break up the Chicos. All right, we've got a couple of people, looks like, heading to the penalty box. Sasson coming through, straight through the middle there for another 4 points. Both teams with a blocker each in the penalty box. Mad Splatter just taking that outside line around past in a pickle to get out for the initial pass. But Sasson is still racking up points as we head into the last few seconds as the period clock is now finished. We have run out of period clock. All right, Mad Splatter doing a great little cut in on the inside at the home straight to come around for some points, and it looks like they might just be running it. Library Fine on the bench is saying one more, get another few points in the last few seconds of this game. I think the Chicos might want to get to 400 points possibly. Let's see if they can do it. The defence has locked all the way down for both teams. This is just super solid. All right, there is that final whistle as we do a final score check. Gary is heading over with our points for Southeast Alliance. All right, let's have a look. Chico Rollers, 23 points for that jam, a humongous jam, bringing them to 402. And a huge 6 points to Southeast Alliance, bringing them to 189. Huge well done to both teams. That's a lot of points scored today.
Absolutely. Excellent derby to see from both teams as well. Really, really good tactics, great defence and offence, and work from the jammers. Big shout out to Wangaratta, our friends at Nerd, for hosting us today. Excellent work. And that is the end of that game. Fantastic work. Coming up next,
we've got Ballarat Roller Derby versus News, which is a merged team of our hosts, Northeast Roller Derby and Westside Roller Derby. So as the teams cheer each other on and celebrate their win, we'll hope you stick around for the next few games for today. And I'll sign off. I've been Intensive Claire Unit.
And I've been Hypodermic. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I go for the ride, I've been down the ride for the win. Still move on the hush, never run for none. I face my fears, I just drop for 9 month to month, still from year to year. New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. New watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again. Get some checks, I invest, and I spend a check. Spend a check, get it back, then I take a rest. Only race is the human, I take care of my skin. I was doing this as a rookie, now I'm up to vet. Set the trend, set the pace of play. I don't trip, but if I fall, bet I make a way. I take trips in the fall, watch the leaves change. I like to treat every day like it's my B-day. No watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. No watch, no diamonds, no watch, good timing, yeah. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich, I'm sporty and rich. Do it again, again, again. Do it again, again, again. Do it again, again, again.